Welcome to Night Shift Rift. I'm Mike.
I'm Damien,
Get into the rift.
and you cut out on the word let's. Great start.
That's how I roll. Uh, God, my mic's being fucking stupid.
Still looking into getting internet?
Yeah, well, no. But it's not just that. My what do they call it? Pop filter is keeps swinging around.
Oh,
Right
well, yeah.
as I said, let's get into the rift. It swung around and smacked me in the face. It was pretty epic.
Oh, good.
So it's actually fighting back.
Fucking Skynet.
What?
Skynet. You know, Skynet from Terminator.
Yeah. Okay. The
Jesus
machines are
Christ.
fighting back. Yeah, go
So,
fuck yourself
uh,
with your.
I mean, that's one of your movies. That's like an old movie.
That's fair. That's fair. So
Fine.
today, what are we talking about, Damien?
Superpowers. You got super close to the mic.
Yeah. My bad. Hold on. Here, is this better?
Yeah, like I turned you up because you were sitting further away. We're talking about superpowers today, and discussing the pros and cons of some of them, and then in the end, I guess we're gonna talk about which ones we'd rather have.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, there's obviously a lot of different types of superpowers when you look at all the different uh, comic books and movies and just things that have over the years, mostly like sci-fi, related movies. Um, you've got invisibility. I mean, handy, right? If you wanted to
Yeah.
spy on people, especially
Yeah.
like,
And of course, with like all the superpowers, people on the internet have just shit on them all. And one of the things that gets brought up about invisibility a lot, it'd be cool to just wander around unseen, but one of the you want to start bringing logic into superpowers. Your corneas are invisible, so you're blind because you can't see light because it passes through them.
that's I've never thought of that as being a disadvantage. Like, so I mean, obviously, uh, I would think invisibility is like a great stealth skill. So if you're not like quiet and agile, it really doesn't matter if you're fucking invisible.
Yeah.
Um, I never have thought about the fact that yeah, that's going extra scientific on it. I
Well,
mean, it's a superpower, right? So like,
well, yeah.
there's got to be a loophole there.
Yeah, no, there's like a lot of the, especially like comics and stuff, they include loopholes for that stuff. I'm gonna be honest, not positive what the one for invisibility is. Not a lot of super, not a lot of superheroes I can think of actually turn invisible. I just miss Fantastic. Is that what the fuck she's called? Invisigirl? Whatever.
Are you talking about like from Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what the hell.
Is,
Wasn't her name like in Sue Storm or something like that?
yeah, that's her
Or
name. I don't know what her superhero name
that's the
is.
lady who played it.
But I don't know of any other superhero that turns invisible off the top of my head.
Oh well, like from The Incredibles,
But yeah,
Violet,
Violet. She turns invisible. Yeah.
and then of course Harry Potter with the cloak of invisibility. That's a little different.
That is a lot different.
I mean, he's still invisible, right?
Have you seen those things?
Technically.
Like, they've made those now? The, like, light bending
Yeah.
blankets and shit? Those are awesome.
Yeah, that is super cool. Just looking it up. There's also Hollow Man.
Hollow
Never, I
Man.
have no idea who that is.
Never heard of him. Is he Marvel?
I have no fucking idea.
We've got a lot of weird ass, obscure superheroes.
Yeah. So I mean, it would definitely be a fun one, especially like sneaking up on people, or even better, sneaking up and then reappearing. That scare the shit out of people. That'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
fun. One of the other probably. most well known would be like superhuman strength.
Oh, Martian
Pick up a
Manhunter can
car.
turn invisible.
Who?
Martian Manhunter.
Hmm.
All right, super strength. Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah, to be able to like just pick up a car and
Just
like
chuck it.
toss it to the side, like that's fucking awesome.
Hmm.
Which
But
reminds me that this past week we went to Kosai and Jason picked up a car. That was the thing.
uh, was his kid stuck under there?
no, no, it's like so they got like this weird like oh, what do they call it when it's so it's got like a big bar, car attached to one end, rope attached to the other end, and there's like a
Oh yeah,
axis
yeah,
in the
pulley
middle, but it's
system.
closer to the car, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, and so when you pull on the rope, you can actually lift the car off the ground. It's pretty fucking cool.
So yeah, that'd be cool. Like it uses like you'd win any fucking street fights. Like as long as you get one in there, they're fucking gone.
Yeah, yeah,
But like
that's very true.
that's got the drawbacks of like your muscles might be super strong, but like if your bones don't also get strong in conjunction, lifting something heavy up will still shatter like your ankles and stuff.
Yeah,
Plus, you'd sink into the ground, even if like your bones are strong. Like you'd have the entire weight of whatever you're lifting solely on the two surface areas of your feet, which would probably break or sink you into most surfaces.
yeah.
I'm gonna be the negative
Uh,
Nancy here because I've looked at this stuff before. I don't remember when, but I remember
well,
all
you
these
the big.
drawbacks.
I mean, the big thing is obviously you'd have to have really good self control.
Oh yeah,
You
also.
can't just get upset and just like punch a wall. Like as a adult human male, if I punch drywall, yeah, my hand will go through it. But if I'm fucking super strong, I could punch a brick wall and then the whole fucking wall come down. That's a problem. Like you
Hmm.
have to be able to really control yourself.
Yeah, but yeah, no,
And obviously, super strength has been made famous by like all kinds of
yeah,
superheroes:
like
Superman, Mister Incredible, Thor,
yeah.
Wolverine. It goes on and on.
Again, Martian Manhunter, super strength.
Bane, even like so, like when you look at the bad guys too, right? So like Saber
Bane has
Tooth.
super steroids.
Yes.
He has no balls though at all. Like they're inside of him. That is what
So
steroids do,
there's
right? They shrink your balls.
pretty much,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's one of the horrible side effects. Yeah.
That's also why he's bald.
So
What else is there? There's
yeah,
super speed.
super speed. Now, super speed would be pretty fucking awesome. I mean, the idea of being able to run miles in like seconds is awesome. My exercise routine would definitely benefit from that because then I'd have more time to do other shit. You can use that for all kinds of things. Just running errands would be easier.
Yeah, no, it'd be nice. Like you wouldn't need to deal with cars. Again, like fucking
Right.
just cheat at everything. Like any race, you're good as long as you taper it enough. Taper the speed.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, there's obviously increased risk for I don't know accidents.
Yeah,
Fucking
one of the drawbacks that people point out a lot is like you ever run super fast, it's pain in the ass to like stop immediately. You have to gradually slow down, otherwise you're gonna fall on your face. Like imagine going like
yeah,
60 and
yeah.
having to stop. You'd have to stop like well before you get to where you want to be, or start stopping, slowing down.
So I mean, and then there's other like upside and downside, like they show in Flash, I think it is.
Hmm.
Like so, time you could obviously like there's a certain speed at which you would literally travel through time, and that would be kind of
So,
fucking crazy if that's scientifically.
well,
Yeah.
that's not what the Flash does. His power comes from something called the Speed Force, which he enters, like a different universe, which lets him travel through time. He doesn't just,
Gotcha.
yeah. But something else, if we're going to talk about that, running super fast, there's stuff in the air, or like, bugs and shit. You go in 60 without any protection, you're going to take a bug to the eyeball. One of the I already forget what we called them, workarounds that comics do. Like for the Flash, he's got the Speed Force. It makes an aura around him that disintegrates any small things like bugs and dust that would, like, just penetrate him.
So yeah, that's another thing. Is super speed? I guess technically isn't going to be held just to running. I mean, super speed is super speed. So you would be able to like throw a punch super fast.
Yeah.
You would be able to, you know,
Like swim, I guess.
think you swim fast.
Run on
Exactly. So
water.
like, there's
And yeah, he
definitely a
does.
lot of pros to that.
Yeah, he also does the thing where not you were saying like he moves so fast, travels through time. He'll move so fast that time basically stops for him.
Yeah, yeah, because you're moving so fast that when you're looking at everything else, I mean, everything else is moving in slow motion compared to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
They also
And
touch
that's
they touch on that in X-Men 2, and I guess now in the Avengers Age of Ultron with Quicksilver.
yeah, Quicksilver does the same thing, which yeah,
Although according to people who have done the math, Quicksilver is significantly slower than the Flash. Like laughably so, apparently.
there are people who are doing the math.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they'll like look at the comics and be like, all right, what's his, like highest speed, highest feet
Hmm.
versus the Flashes. Yeah, there's a whole there's a whole like group. There's a thing called Death Battle where it's just two dudes. I'm sure there's more of them, but the two hosts go over all the strengths and weaknesses of superheroes, and then, or not even just superheroes, like anybody, and pit them against each other. And they do the Flash and Quicksilver.
So then you've got another classic, which would be flying.
Yeah, no, that would also be super cool. Don't need it. Well, it would depend on how fast you can fly, whether or not you need to, or you would be able to not drive cars anymore or something.
Yeah, I mean, but there's even if you fly at a normal, say, running pace,
No.
you still can eliminate a lot of, like, you're eliminating traffic. You can go, as the crow flies, you can go in a straight line to a specific location, which is going to cut out a lot of time. So, I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it'd make
But
like
with that,
just general living easier. Like you never need ladders again.
yeah, that's true.
You just fly up and make a great janitor, replacing all the light bulbs.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
What? At what point did I say your name? Anything remotely your name?
She's not sure. She's not sure.
Janitor?
That's perfect.
Changing light bulbs? Like I don't even have her name set as Alexa.
Oh, I don't even want to know.
It's computer. Stop. Shut up.
Oh.
Because of like yeah, you can't customize the name. There's set ones. Shit. 2001: A Space Odyssey, I think. Or no, Star Trek. Damn it. Star Trek. It's computer. Stop.
So
Flight. So the
flying.
downsides of flight that people have pointed out. It's like, so are we talking just like Superman flight, or you get wings?
I mean, I guess you would probably just lump those together. Um,
All right, well that's fine. So the
you,
problem with wings is like you're now a freak. So
well,
unless it's a world
and
with superpowers,
well, and if you might be able to tuck them away, there might be some sort of way to
I mean, yeah,
on
but
the daily.
like you still have a hump on your back. Like there's no way to lay completely
Uh,
flush. But
it's just
there,
really big muscles. I have really big triceps and shit like I got
yeah.
really big back muscles.
So just like with the speed
Uh,
thing, depending on how fast you fly, there's bugs that whack you in the
yeah.
face and shit.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I guess that also depends on how high you're going. I mean, most bugs aren't hanging out
yeah,
up at
but you go too
those.
high, and you freeze.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you need
Well,
protective
not to
gear,
mention, like you'd have to check, like you'd have to be
oxygen.
obviously aware of other flying objects,
Yeah,
planes and birds and what have you.
keep track of your oxygen. And like what does it take? Like running, you run for so long, like you get tired. Like what kind of energy consumption does flying take you or require from you? Stuff like that
Yeah.
are all things
Um,
people have pointed out on the internet. Um, I was gonna say something else, but I forget. So yeah,
so, what about shape shifting?
shapeshifting's fucking cool.
So that'd be kind of an interesting one. I mean, there's a that's like uh, almost like invisibility, right? Like you can take on other things' appearances
Yeah, yeah.
or whatever. Um, that's just as good as being invisible, if not better. Um,
Especially if you're not blind.
being Yep. So there is that.
The shapeshifting, as far as I know, like not hardly any downsides to that, except like the only one that I remember or can think of is if whether how it feels, like whether or not it's painful or uncomfortable to do.
Well, not to mention, like, so if I were to take on uh, somebody, I would shapeshift to look like somebody, and that particular somebody had an illness. Would you then take that on? At least while you were that person. So then that would be a different, you'd be pain in their pain as well. I don't know.
Yeah, so that would there's different kinds like Mystique. I'm pretty sure she only externally changes. Or no, wait, no. She does get their blood type and shit. I don't know. But yeah, shape changing or shape shifting would be cooler than shit. Like I'd love that. That'd be neat.
Well, and I mean, does it? So could you turn into something that's not a person? That's like another thing. Just be like, I don't know, whatever, fucking
Beast
a
Boy.
car or a
Oh, a car.
uh huh, whatever,
I was thinking
anything.
more
I
like
don't
Beast Boy where you turn into animals.
know. That too. You turn into like a dog or a wolf or a mountain lion, whatever. Like, I mean, there's a lot of
Animals.
real.
There's a lot of animals. You named off
There's a
three very
lot
similar
of
ones.
a lot of animals, a lot of animals.
But I
There's
mean,
a lot
hell,
of objects in the world.
even
That
just
being said, I mean,
shapeshifting into people would be awesome.
yeah, even if it was just held to people specifically, it'd still be super cool. Um, but yeah, I can't really think.
Like you'd make a great birthday attraction.
Like literally, the biggest disadvantage is like that it's not an honest power. Like you can
Oh, who cares?
easily do identity theft and things like that. Yeah, but that's kind of like part of the point of it, right? So like, I don't know. There's not. I can't think of a whole lot of down.
You just disappeared.
Ah,
There you go.
am I back?
Yeah, you faded out, which was different than normal.
Super cool.
So yeah, there's not a lot of
Like
downsides.
I said, it's super sweet. All my technical difficulties over here are adding um, these really cool effects to the podcast. That's what it is.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like I don't.
So
I don't
far
even have.
you cut out, and then repeated what you said really fast for some reason, and now you're fading out.
Yeah, I mean, there's just sound effects. My computer or my microphone, something over here is just like we got to spice this thing up. That's what it is. It's
So shapeshifting, perfect superpower, no downsides, except unless it's painful. But even then, just pop some Tylenol or something, or morphine.
yeah. Hey, I can't really think of a lot of downside there. Like it's not flying. You know, flying would be super cool. Super strength would be super. But
Well,
I
that
guess with that being said, if I wanted to be super strong, I could just change into somebody who's really strong.
yeah, but it's not super strength. And there's also like the different types of shape changing. Can you just add parts?
Hmm.
Like, could you just grow wings?
That would be cool. Yeah. Then you could just fly. Or once again, you made the mention earlier, like so you have superpowers. Are you in a world with superpowers? Because then you just shapeshift into somebody with you did at the time.
Repeat that.
That'd be super cool. So like what you mentioned, one of the things you mentioned is, are you in a world with superpowers? So like if that's the case, then you just shapeshift into somebody who has the power that you need at that time.
Yeah, at least in the only big example I can think of is Mystique. She doesn't get their powers when she transforms, which is I don't
There isn't a time where she like transforms into like Wolverine, like where she has like claws and shit.
I don't
Could have swore
think.
that was a thing.
I mean, it very well could be. I haven't read or done anything in those comics in ages.
But I
Um,
guess the claws themselves aren't a superpower. Like he has superpowers. That just happens to be like a weapon that's inserted in his body, basically.
well, yeah, but she changes clothes, like her clothes change with her.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's see. No, she does not get the powers of others. She copies any abilities that are physical.
Interesting. So that's
So yeah,
why
she
I'm
can get his
thinking of the like,
claws.
yeah, but she can't get like the super healing and the
Yeah,
fucking strength that he has and shit like that. Cool.
yeah. See, honestly don't even think she has. Does Wolverine have super strength? I thought it was
Yeah.
just since his body healed, he just went fucking above and beyond and fucked himself up doing everything.
No, I mean
Like,
he's there. There are moments where he does things that a normal human, like strength wise, that a normal human being would not be capable of. I don't know that he's like super strong, like Superman, super strong, holding a fucking train over his head,
yeah.
but uh, he definitely does show strength that is superhuman.
Well, I was thinking more like we were talking about super strength. Like, there's the whole like mother's adrenaline. They throw cars, like they lift cars up and shit, but it like tears up their muscles. I always just thought
Yeah,
that's how he did it. Is he just went fucking full ham and was tearing his muscles up, but they just healed.
maybe.
Okay, so shape shifting, cool. Uh,
Cool.
Telepathy.
Yeah, so telepathy, and I think if you think telepathy, you might want, like, I would think you would include mind control, like,
Well,
with that.
I don't know. Maybe. So like telepathy.
So, we just started talking like X-Men and stuff. So, like, Professor Xavier and Gray, both, they've got like the whole telepathy
Yeah,
and
they've got telepathy and telekinesis.
right,
And Jean Grey, I think, has at some point pyrokinesis.
or like Jedi. They
Yeah,
got
the
like the whole
Force.
telepathy, mind control.
Yeah. So are we counting telekinesis in with telepathy?
Well,
They're generally
I'm
clumped
thinking once
together as
again.
just like brain superpowers.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. telekinesis, I guess, would be its own thing, but I'm still thinking mind control.
All right, so mind control would be cool. I don't know of any downsides to it.
So yeah, once again, the only downside that I could think of would be a moral dilemma more than anything. But like, maybe I would assume you'd. I couldn't imagine the massive fucking headache that would be.
Maybe, yeah, maybe pain again. Just like with shape changing, like the only downside potentially would be pain, which
Well, and then
is
so then like there's like a control factor there too because like uh, Professor Xavier, he like he can hear all these thoughts and everything all at once,
yeah, you
and
gotta zone
he,
everybody out.
he's able to zone everybody out and hone in on what he wants at that time, who he wants to hear.
Hmm.
And if you can't do that, I could see that driving you absolutely insane, just constantly hearing shit like the. I don't know.
Yeah,
That
that would
would
be
be
awful.
miserable.
If you don't have like full control over it, fuck that noise.
Right. That would be fucking hateful. But there are definite upsides. You'd always know if somebody was lying to you, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Always know how people feel about you or others.
Hmm.
God, you could just go to poker tournaments and shit and just clean house.
Absolutely. So I
Hmm.
mean, that definitely is something that you would want to keep under control. But if you could control it, it'd be pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah. And then like telekinesis, similar.
So yeah, absolutely follow
Like
up with telekinesis.
like telekinesis or the force or whatever, that'd be like depending on how strong it is, like how much you can lift and move at a time would be a factor. But even then, like
Absolutely, like weight of objects or how many objects.
yeah,
Like shit, you got like even little girl, fucking what's her name, Matilda. Just
Matilda.
it's going old school. I don't. Have you ever seen Matilda?
No.
Oh my god, yeah. It's there. There's a point where she's absolutely just going ape shit and everything's flying around. It's pretty cool.
But like
I mean, they're. Go ahead.
at least like in the beginning, like going on the force, like Yoda was struggling to lift up a boulder and shit. And as the movies went on, like Vader's just throwing like giant chunks of metal spaceship around like they're nothing. And then you get to the video games and the comics, and like people are pulling spaceships out of orbit and shit. And like just holding up hundreds of thousands of people at once and force choking them all at the same time. It depends on the limitations. Even if like you didn't, like say you could only lift a total of like 40 pounds of shit. That'd be nice just for convenience. Like cooking, you'd be like a whole chef team by yourself.
Absolutely.
But
Fucking chopping up peppers and onions over here. Got the steak and the skillet over here.
yeah,
Got absolutely.
or like hobbyists. You'd also need like the mental acuity, I guess, to do all of that at once. I would suppose.
Yeah, you have to be able to multitask. Yeah, I mean that's got to take. But I mean, there's also just simple upsides here. You snuggled into bed and you realize that the remote's all the way across the side of the fucking
Yeah,
room, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta get the fuck up to get that." Nope.
yeah. So bare minimum, it's just complete quality of life upgrade.
Absolutely. Now, here's the downside. So I literally the two things that we literally just mentioned were food and not getting up out
Oh
of
yeah, you'd be a
off the
lazy piece of
couch or
shit.
out of bed. You'd be an obese, lazy piece of shit.
Well, you want to start getting
uh,
like super meta about it. You could work your muscles with your telepathy.
so that way you don't turn into a fat fucking slob.
Yeah. Also, you could depending on the again like the lore or the how we're ruling it, you could fly.
Yeah, yeah, because you could lift yourself
Yeah,
through
as long as
telekinesis,
your weight,
technically.
if you could lift that much,
Yeah.
fly around. Like that's what Magneto does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so not really any downsides of telepathy, even if you don't have a lot of limit or whatever. It's still just quality of life. It's nice. So another good transition would be, I guess if we're Magneto, like metal kinesis, magnetism,
So, uh,
just like a
what would that?
shittier version of telepathy. I think it's just magnetism.
So there's, let me think. So specific to metal, but I would even go as far as just like, so like object manipulation, I guess.
It's like just non-living.
Correct.
I mean, still that's, or I guess inorganic maybe. Anyway, still that's
Inorganic.
well, that
So
just goes back to
like
telepathy. That's just
in
quality of life.
like in X-Men, like Magneto, there's also what is it, Jubilee and I think Gambit.
Yeah,
But
Gambit,
like
Jubilee. I don't know what Jubilee does actually. I thought Jubilee shot like fireworks.
mm, that up.
So, well, Gambit. I also don't. I really don't know how his power works either.
So are to generate pyrotechnic energy plasmoids from her hand. She has referred to these blasts as fireworks.
Hey,
The, she has the plasmoids obey her mental control, traveling where she directed them, arranging themselves in various shapes, and exploding when she wished. So it's similar, but I guess she's just pulling that shit out of thin air.
so
Where
Gambit.
Magneto, the item, has to be there.
Yeah. So Gambit has the mutant ability to tap into the potential energy contained within an object and transform it into kinetic energy. When he So basically, what he does is he just charges an object full of kinetic energy and throws it, and then it explodes when it hits it.
Yeah.
So
So,
he's just an arsonist, terrorist.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Still, those aren't really.
I would consider it object manipulation, but okay.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't specify, but I guess in the comics and stuff, they do not move naturally a lot of the time. But yeah, he throws playing cards, and he also uses like a staff that he just beats people with. But yeah, it
But
is
yeah,
object
obviously,
manipulation.
and it is going to be similar to telekinesis, but uh, I guess the difference would be like the artistry of it, really, more than anything. Um,
Yeah.
Magneto specifically metal. Um,
Well, yeah.
Basically, they're manipulating a certain kind. Each one of them is manipulating a certain kind of object.
Well,
Where
Magneto's is magnetism. He also does things other than manipulate metal. Can't think off the top of my head, but I know he does funky things with just the fact that he controls magnetism. I can't think of anything right now.
yeah, so I just think the disadvantage would be, but I don't know that it would be a disadvantage. So, like, once again, you're most likely only able to manipulate a certain kind of object or objects. So compared to telekinesis, the power's a little more limited.
Yeah, I think again, I it has been a while. I think he's limited to just magnetable ferrous. I think are the metals that can be affected by magnet are the ferrous metals. Might be wrong on that too. I think he can control more like mass and stuff than Professor Xavier can just telekinetically control. Like he's limited to what he can do, but I think he has more power in that regard. Tele I could also be wrong on that. Let's move on, because
Okay,
shit.
so what about like just super senses? You know, like Spider-Man, Daredevil, um, being able to just like, I guess, have stronger senses, hearing, smell. You know,
Yeah, so
uh,
Daredevil, he's blind, but he's got like super echolocation,
right.
is his thing. So I guess like Daredevil's power is
So then,
shit.
yeah, I mean, super echolocation gives him basically the ability to see, which I can already do. So I don't.
Well, as far as like he sees better than most people, he can see behind him and stuff, 360.
Yeah,
But I don't. It doesn't work on TVs and monitors and stuff. Like he can't see picture.
yeah,
Plus like just loud enough noise, and I'm pretty sure he's out for a bit.
yeah.
Like flash blank
Absolutely.
or like Sonic blinds him. Now spider senses are cool as hell. Like, I like the spider sense, like just knowing when something bad's about to happen.
Absolutely.
But
Or
again,
just knowing someone's around the corner or on the other side of a door based on simple things like the fact that they're breathing and you can hear it, like
yeah.
uh,
So
the vibration of them walking, things like that. Like that's pretty awesome. Now, the major downside, and this one's really easy, is like, how would you fucking get any sleep?
yeah, that like you'd have to be able to zone it out. Plus,
Yeah.
so also downside like
I
with
mean,
Daredevil, if you're honing in on something, like it's real easy to overload the senses. Like you're
absolutely.
super honed into somebody's breathing, and then all of a sudden like fucking car crash happens or something along those lines, or like you know gunshots.
Yeah, it's really going to be disoriented. Really, it's going to, yeah, fuck everything up.
Yeah.
I just know in my house, there's never ever a truly still moment. There's a dog moving, a cat moving, something's happening, a
Oh
kid's
yeah.
getting up in the middle of the night. There's just always something. And if I've got like extreme super senses, I'm never getting any sleep.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
Especially I sleep with a fan on because I have to have the noise to sleep.
Now, but that might be different because that might drown everything else out a little bit, which would be,
Yeah, but then you just gotta like the fan noise is gentle. If you have super hearing, it's gonna be like a whirlwind in your ears unless you can zone it out. But yeah. So what about teleportation?
so yeah, teleportation, that would be a pretty sweet one. I would be able to do what work is asking us to do right now. Um,
I'm not even sure you'd be able to accomplish that with anyway.
uh, teleportation.
You'd be better
I
off
mean,
just shape shifting. Anyway, yeah, teleportation. So again, depends on the limitation. Like if you can only teleport somewhere you can see or somewhere you've been before, that severely limits it. But even then, like that's still awesome.
yeah, and then I mean, places that you've seen. I mean that could be real easy. I could pick up a postcard of the Grand Canyon, and we'd be at the Grand Canyon. Like,
Well, that's not exactly what I meant, but yes. I also said places you've
yeah,
been, not
you meant
seen.
where they can, but
Yeah. But But even then, like you go there
yeah, it's all,
once, like you just go on a world like a road trip around the world. You just basically get a bunch of landmarks. You'd be like, oh, I'm in Egypt now. But if you had no limitations, like Nightcrawler and X-Men, he can just go wherever. Like you could
yeah.
just like rob banks and shit.
Hiro Nakamura from Heroes,
I
Doctor Manhattan.
I have no idea who that is.
Hiro Nakamura.
Yeah.
Heroes. It was I don't know. It was a show about specific people who started getting abilities, and they were like dealing with it, and I don't know, basically becoming superheroes and supervillains as
That
shit happened. But it was,
that sounds like more my level than yours.
you should check it out. You probably would like it.
So, I guess downsides. Again,
Uh,
might be painful.
yeah, might be painful.
If we're going the Nightcrawler route, he teleports by going into hell and then coming out somewhere else.
Definite downside.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Well, and one thing that we haven't thought about on any of these is disadvantage wise is the government's nosy motherfuckers, and if you have any of these abilities,
so yeah, when we're
uh,
picking our
you're
favorite, it really matters if superpowers are like widely around, or if it's just you.
right,
Because if it's just you flying,
or a limited population of people, a very limited
yeah,
population.
then like flight, like fuck it, somebody sees you and they report you, meh, you're
Yeah, you're
a
being
government
tested
test
for the rest
subject.
of your life.
Yeah.
Your very short lifespan at that point
So
is you'll be tested.
teleporting though, not as big of a problem.
It'd be tough. It would be super tough to catch you for one.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be fucking impossible if you had no limitations, and even if you had limitations, like if it was somewhere you'd been, again, you just when you get the power, you take a world trip, you're set. Go anywhere. They'd have to pinpoint every place you've ever been and like guard it.
So that would actually bring up the next one I have that I'm looking at. So this would be extremely useless if there were no other people with powers in the world,
Yeah.
and that's just power absorption. Like,
Oh yeah, no, that's well, yeah, power absorption, sure. If you want to expand it a bit, like just absorption, like say you're a great chef, I could absorb your talent at cooking. Or like Spanish, I could absorb that. You broaden it a bit and it becomes useful even if you are the only one.
yeah,
Like
that's fair.
But yeah, if it's just superpower absorption, no. If you're the only one, you'll never know. Like you wouldn't even know.
So there are people who have these powers throughout, but typically, I believe you usually are only able to have one at a time. Is a big downside.
That is
So you have to let go.
the
You have to let go
stereotypical.
of a power to get the other. Now, once again, heroes. There, I think there was a guy, Peter Petrelli.
Peter Dinklage.
He Peter Petrelli. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if he could only have one at a time or if he could hold multiple. I want to say he could hold multiple powers at a time. He could, if as long as he made contact with the person, he then had their ability.
So we're going off X-Men. Rogue had that ability. I
And
think at the beginning she could only hold one power at a time, but as the comics got on, she got more and more powerful. I think towards the end she was basically just had them all at all times. Like she was like Superman.
yeah,
And then there's a very popular anime manga called My Hero Academia, where he's not even necessarily the main antagonist, but like the most powerful villain. He has the ability to take other people's powers, not copy them. Like I get absorb did he take? So in Rogue's case, she didn't take the powers. Like the other person still had them. But in
Right.
the dude's case, his name's like One for All. He takes them from people, and he gets them all at all times. Fucking Zeus.
How did you know that?
Because I thought you said Apollo doesn't go upstairs. Like you said, Zeus goes
just
upstairs
shook
to avoid Apollo.
Himself so hard, and he was like right next to the wall, so his whole body just like thrashed up against the wall while he was doing it.
Yeah. But yeah, so the
That's
thing that makes One for All so like powerful is he would like combine different ones. Like different powers and make new ones and shit. But yeah, power absorption would only be good in a world where there's more powerful people. But
Absolutely.
if you just go like, I don't know, experience absorption maybe? I don't know what you would call it, but like, you go up to like the fucking lead guitarist of whatever band you love, and whether you have to touch them or just be around them, and you absorb their ability to play guitar and all their experiences, like that would also be a great power.
Absolutely.
You could just be the best at everything if you meet the best at it first.
Yeah. He'd be an amazing athlete, artist, musician. Yeah, absolutely. That would be
Everything. Chef, playwright, director. And downside, so the downside would be if like, as far as the not power absorption but generalized absorption, if you also absorbed all their negative traits, maybe. So like, what's it called? Schizophrenia, where you just blurt shit out.
yeah.
So if you just like didn't control it, like if you didn't have proper control over it and you absorb somebody's schizophrenia, or specifically like there's a villain in DC called Metallo who absorbs people or who copies people's powers, but he also copies their weaknesses, which in one of the comics that's how they beat him, is because he copies Superman and then Batman just shoves some kryptonite in his face.
Well, not only that, but like, so just because if you're going off of just power, like you absorb their power, that doesn't mean you absorb their expertise in the power.
Yeah,
So
so
then there's like a learning process to it, and God knows what'll happen while you're, especially when you're trying to juggle multiple, if you're able to take on more than one at a time.
Yeah.
Like that could be pretty fucking intense.
so that's at least in X-Men one of the part of Rogue's power is she absorbs their experiences, like all of them, not even specifically the powers. Like she absorbs everything that is them. Now Rogue's thing, at least in the beginning, she could only have one at a time, and it faded eventually. Like she couldn't hold it forever, and when it faded, all of the experiences faded as well, I believe. So she'd forget all of it. So she just wouldn't be walking around with the full lives of everybody she's ever touched.
Right.
She couldn't control hers. Hers was if she made skin contact. But yeah. So we're nearing 50 minutes, so we should talk about, at this point, maybe it's not one we've discussed already, but what would... So I guess we'd have
Holy
two.
shit, we've been talking for that long?
Yeah. So I guess we'd have two. So what is your preferred superpower if nobody else had superpowers? And what is your preferred superpower if everyone had superpowers? And they can be the same, it's just some of them aren't useful if nobody else has them.
Ooh, oh my god, I don't know. Shit, there's so many. Indestructibility.
Yeah. So on that note, actually, funny story. I think it was X-Men 2 as well. Somebody got like the power of invulnerability, like they can't be hurt, nothing can affect them ever again. They were like a fat middle-aged person and they couldn't lose weight. Nothing could affect them. No matter how much they worked out, no matter what they did, they were always a fat, like overweight person. They
See,
couldn't
but
be
to be fair,
killed.
I'm not fat and overweight and middle aged yet, so it would work out fine for me.
Well, I'm just saying that was a you brought it up. I thought that was interesting because that's a good twist on that superpower of like invincibility. Like nothing affects you anymore, not even the good stuff.
So I'm trying to figure this out, and one of the things that have come up cracks me up. It's so like Iron Man, right? Wealth, wealth is his superpower.
Yeah,
Money, lots of money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, if we're going on that note, like Batman, super wealthy.
Yeah,
Both of them have dead parents. Like their parents were
yeah.
murdered. With the superpower of wealth comes the downside of apparently your family being killed. That's the drawback of wealthy. All right. Well, while you mull it over, this
Uh
is
huh.
this is a discussion I've had at work. I think twice now with different people, so I've got my answers down. Uh, if everyone had superpowers, I would want telekinesis, like the Force, because that I just think that'd be sweet. Like you wouldn't have to worry about hiding it. You could just openly always convenient. Like you walk in a grocery store, just everything you want starts floating towards you. Stuff like that would be cooler than hell. And in a world where I'm the only one who has a superpower, shapeshifting would be sweet. Like beyond anything else, you could just live a different life every week. Well, not at home, but like you could go out and be a different person, experience all that stuff. Like just every week be somebody different.
So I would definitely have to say that mine, either way, would be the indestructibility or uh, just yeah, like the fact that nothing could hurt me.
Wasn't
Nothing.
yeah okay.
I mean, technically, it makes you immortal, and that may be kind of a that's probably its biggest upside and downside, right? So,
See, I thought about that
um,
too because I really just don't like the concept of dying. Oddly enough, for my
right,
generation. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I could live forever. Because
right.
imagine, oh fucking hell, that's disappointing. I just broke one of my Dremel bits playing with it. Shit.
I
Okay.
mean, shit. Nobody wants to die, right? Like, but
Well,
at the
I mean,
same
yeah,
time, I feel like if you can't die, like that at that, there's going to be a certain point where that's going to be all you want to do.
yeah.
Like, you just want like it's over now. Please just let it end,
Mhm.
and
Especially
that's not
like,
an option. You're indestructible.
imagine you live 4 billion years or whatever, and the sun explodes. You're just floating in space now, or technically you get sucked into a black hole, and God knows what happens there. Or even if you do get blasted off, you're just floating around in space until you land or
Find
something finds
something
you.
somewhere.
Yeah. But no, especially if you take the downside of nothing good. Like you're permanently in whatever physical condition you are. There were also some other things that were downsides in the comic that he was introduced in. I don't remember. I don't think this was the case, but I want to say he also couldn't learn new things because his brain didn't make new not synapses. Is it synapses?
Fuck if I knew.
Might be wrong. But I want to say, or at the very least, it would make kind of sense if you couldn't learn anything new because you're whatever it, it's a physical thing in your head that makes memories.
But here's the thing: most when it comes to superheroes, almost any one of them I can think of, they're not unkillable technically. They're just they're it's an extremely difficult process. Like technically, Superman can be killed,
Yeah,
right?
he has a
Like
weakness. His like
Um,
kryptonite can kill him. And
right.
like Deadpool, he just heals really fast. So he can be killed. Like they went over that. He lived till the end of to the end of the solar system, and the sun exploding completely atomized him, and that did kill him. Um, but at least in the instance I'm talking about, I don't remember his name, but the overweight dude who got invulnerability, he was nothing affected him at all. Like it wasn't, oh, I've got my weakness. His weakness was the fact that he was a middle-aged overweight man and could not do anything about it forever. Like he was always slower, he was always weaker than anyone he ever faced. They used him as a shield. Like that was his biggest thing.
Yeah, he just absorbed all the damage.
Yeah. But yeah, depends on what like if we're going the road of complete invulnerability, like you want to be completely invulnerable, then yeah, that would suck. But if you want a kryptonite for when you're like, I'm done, then sure.
Yeah, that would have to be a choice. Yeah, I would have to be able to tap out.
And that's regard like you just want that even if everybody else has a superpower.
Absolutely.
Alright.
Yeah, so like either way, that works out. So like there are ways around it if you're the only one, um, so that way you can go relatively unnoticed.
Well,
And then there's
I guess. Like I guess after like 100 or 200 like you move every 10 or 20 years when you don't age and
right.
eventually you'd have to leave the country because after like 80 years or 100 years and the government's like, hey, this same dude's still alive and hasn't changed at all, you'd have to go to a different country.
Yeah, and there's you'd have to make some seedy friends, probably get new identities over time and things like that.
Although, at least with it doesn't matter if you get caught. What are they going to do? They can't cut you, they can't experiment on you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, at best, they'll be like, hey, we'll pay you to go kill people for us.
Right.
Like, please don't overthrow the government.
But then if you're in a world filled with um, powers, fuck, that's the one I want. Like,
Yeah, nobody
you
else can
can't
kill you.
hurt me. Yeah, you can't hurt me.
Now,
So fuck.
with shapeshifting, at least as far as Mystique's concerned, she doesn't age. Like, she just can shift her cells back to newer form. And she can't get sick or any of that because she just fixes it. And if I'm not, I don't know if she can shape change wounds closed. I don't remember that much. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know.
But as far as shapeshifting, like just not aging is good enough for me. Like I don't need to be in like I don't plan on getting in any fights where I'm gonna die. So just shape changing, and if it's got the added benefit like Mystique has, if you can't get sick or cancer or age, then that's just icing on the cake.
So I don't plan on getting into to any fights. But with that being
Bullshit.
said,
Like you pick
with
an
that being
invulnerability, you're planning on fighting everyone.
that being said, I'm so like I already kind of have that lack of fear of being
Also known as
like
stupidity.
so. So it'd be nice to be able to back it up with the fact that they can't actually fucking hurt me. So
No,
like
but what would happen is
I will. I will face somebody twice my size as is, and it'd be nice if they literally couldn't hurt me.
see
I don't plan on getting into a fight, but I also know myself and know that if the fight's picking me, I'm not the type to walk away. So
see I don't believe it wouldn't change that. Like right now, you'll pick fights with people bigger than you, but I guarantee you're less likely to pick a fight with someone bigger than you that can beat you than you are with somebody that's like couldn't beat you. Like so, like just two people start equally talking shit to you. One you could take in a fight, one you can't. I guarantee you'll snap faster on the one you can take on a fight than you one you can't. Like you'll show more restraint for the one that'll kick your fucking ass.
Maybe.
It's like
I
the
don't
same
know.
thing with McDonald. Like he'll talk shit to Steve about flat Earth, but he won't say anything to Eli because Eli can kick his ass.
Oh, see, but I think part of my thing is the fact that, uh, like, they expect people to be afraid of them,
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen it and you've
and
talked about
and
it.
and
Like you're not afraid to
yeah, that
lose.
in and of itself kind of bothers me. So, and I'm not afraid to lose. That part doesn't bother me. Like,
Yeah, but then
I'm okay with.
you go from not being afraid to lose to unable to lose. I cannot imagine your demeanor would change. Like it would have to. Like you'd start talking more shit. Absolutely be like, "What are you going to do? Punch me? Fucking do it." What? Like you'd go to
Oh.
I just for fun. If you're bored, you'll go to like fucking bodybuilding competitions, just shit talking them, just to be like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Huh? What are you gonna fucking do? Do it. All right.
Yeah,
So
I
well,
mean,
there we go.
just eventually you win any fight. Eventually you win.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might beat the shit out of you for a long time,
Well, they
but
might hit you for a long time. They won't be beating the shit out of you.
yeah, but eventually they wear out, and you just fucking start pounding down on them, and they can't obviously take an endless amount of blows like you can. So
Yeah. Also,
yeah,
invulnerable. What about sleep? Because if I'm not mistaken, in the comic I've been referencing this whole time, he couldn't sleep. He was just always awake and not tired. Because when he got his powers, it was in the middle of the afternoon.
well, I mean, but that I don't. If I don't need sleep, then I
Well,
don't think it would be a big deal to lose it.
okay. I mean, it's not even
Like,
necessarily. I don't think he could sleep.
right, but you're gaining what, like 6 to 8 hours of your life every day.
You're
Like,
telling me you don't look forward to sleeping, even when you're not tired. Like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, "Damn, I'm gonna sleep nice tonight." Like it's a
uh,
luxury, at least for me. Like
it,
it's an enjoyable experience.
yeah, but I mean, as long as everybody else is asleep, it's the same luxury. I can be awake, and as long as nobody else is like around to bother me, it's the same. And
Not to me, because that's how I live life. Nobody's awake right now to bother me. Still looking forward to going to bed in a couple hours. But yeah,
uh,
I mean, I just feel like that would get to me after a while. Like
you
24/7
just
consciousness. I'd lose my goddamn mind.
you just learn to meditate.
Yeah, you could be a monk. Or you'd be a
Yeah.
real monk. Like they always talk about being invulnerable and shit. You'd go sit in the street, set yourself on fire, and then walk away like, dude, you could start dude, fuck it. Even in a world without superpowers, you could just claim to be a monk.
Yeah.
Alright, but that's it, so I got the force and shapeshifting, and you're just invulnerability. Complete invulnerability.
So I don't know that you clarified which would be for which.
I did the force for if everyone has superpowers,
Okay.
and then shapeshifting if nobody had it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
because then
like it.
I gave the example like you walk into a grocery store and you just start walking around and everything you want just starts floating behind you. Like you don't need shopping carts. You just got a
Yeah.
giant clump of shit above your head. Stuff like that. Like the force would be just great for quality of life, and depending on how strong it would be, you could use it to like just fuck shit up too. But even like
Absolutely.
weak, still be nice for quality of life. And then yeah, shape shifting, especially if you go the Mystique route where I don't age and I don't get diseases and shit. Absolutely. I'll just yeah. And I wouldn't run in like shapeshifting, not aging. I wouldn't run into the issue that you would. Um, I could make myself look older, and then when it came time to die, I could just make myself. I mean, this would be fuck up. I could like kill a kid and then take their life, and I wouldn't run into the
Wow.
issue of being discovered.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. What just happened there? That just popped in my head.
You're a horrible, horrible human being.
Yeah. Um.
So, but real quick now this is the last little thing before we get out of here. Would you use it
Evil.
if you had the power? Good, evil,
Evil.
or just quality of life?
Well,
Help anyone or hurt anyone. It'd just be to benefit yourself, and that is all.
just benefiting yourself, you could is borderline evil. Like rob people. That just benefits me. Still evil.
Yeah, well, but there's ways to
killing
do it where
killing
it
kids
just
to take their identity so you don't get discovered. I mean,
that's pretty evil. I mean, that's like pretty much as evil as it gets, I think.
but it just helps
But
anyway.
But there's ways to just benefit yourself that don't negatively impact others.
Yes,
So
I would go with just benefit myself, borderlining evil sometimes, like rob a bank maybe. Shapeshift into like
so
the
that's
whoever.
typically how I live my life now, right?
Yeah.
As I just benefit myself or my direct family. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of, but I'd have to think that if I had this ability that I would use it to help others.
I'm still leaning on you just cause more shit.
But like it's not like I would like let somebody be like, hey, this is a bad person, you should do this. Like I want to I don't know, but I think it would be difficult for me morally to not use it to help people.
Yeah, I don't have that thought really. Maybe sometimes.
I've always thought I was more of an asshole than you are, and this podcast just proved that I was wrong.
Oh no, you are definitely not more of an asshole than I am. I could have told you that.
I'm just more vocal about it then.
Yeah,
You keep all your evil bottled up.
that's socially acceptable. I keep myself socially acceptable.
That's good.
But I don't know. I definitely would help people. I don't see how shape shifting would help anyone, but the force, I mean, like, if somebody's falling out of a building, I'll stop them. Why not? I wouldn't hurt myself to help others, definitely. Like, I wouldn't put myself in risk. I might, like, volunteer at a firefighter place, just lift
See, that's
people
kind
out.
of my point. I wouldn't have to volunteer to hurt myself.
Yeah, see? But I'm not going to go out of my... I'm not going to inconvenience myself majorly to help someone, but I guess you're right. If I'm walking down the street and somebody's about to get hit by a car, I'll lift them up if I notice.
Oh, man.
But no,
All
I
right.
definitely lean more towards self-gain.
So now's about that time where we need to teleport our way out of this podcast.
I've had that since we brought up teleporting and you fucking took it from me.
Oh my god! Hold on. I didn't take it from you unless I'm using some sort of
No, shut the fuck up.
telepathy.
Stop.
Did I use telepathy to
Stop
take
it.
it from you?
Stop out nerding me, you little piece of shit. Alright, we're gone. We teleported out. I'm leaving. This is it.
We're phasing out of the rift. I'm Mike.
I'm Damien.
And the Arnie.
Have a nice night, everyone.
A nice night.